We are here to bring you everything and anything surrounding Porsche. I'm Mike.
I'm Aaron.
And this is P-Car Talk.
To another episode of P-Car Talk. I'm Mike.
And I'm Aaron.
And hey, hope you had a new year, a great one. Obviously, you're listening to this on Thursday. The new year has clicked over. Like we like to say on Instagram, if you follow us on that, the Porsche content train never stops.
Never, ever.
These boys don't take days off. We're always getting after it for you guys, and this is no different. So let's go ahead and thank fdmotorsports.net for sponsoring this episode.
Good old Darren.
Yeah, if you guys don't know who he is, please look them up. They they make exhaust, anything from 964 all the way to 997.
Yep.
And the unique thing, as we talked about in other episodes, with their exhaust is they take the actual factory housing and he does his magic to them. It gets you more sound and performance.
And tweaking.
Yeah. Cerakotes them, whatever you want to do with them. Pretty much custom, all that kind of stuff. Also makes short shifters for 964s and 993s. A little company you may have heard of, Singer, likes to use his product in their cars. So if that doesn't say enough about his quality and what he likes to do, obviously you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, again, exhaust also for Boxster and Cayman. In addition to many other things that are being sold on the site. If you want swag, you want some jackets, they also have those as well.
They're pretty cool.
An all-around good guy. If you know his story, obviously he was just doing this on the side. It's kind of fun, and it kind of get developed into, hey, can you continue to do this? And then that year after year, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And next thing you know, he's a full-on company. He has people that are employees there. So needless to say, he's running a pretty good operation, obviously. So. Yeah. And we wish him the best success, and we're so thankful that he's sponsoring this episode. Remember to support the people that are supporting P-Car Talk and support the channels and everything that, the people that you listen to that provide you content that you enjoy. Make sure that you go out and buy these people's products, because in translation, that helps us out because it adds validity to why he's sponsoring this episode. Yep. So go help us out by helping him out by buying some products as well, right?
Yep, that's the plan.
Yeah, everybody helping everybody, right? So, moving on to, we want to thank all of the 2019 P-Car Club members that ended up joining this year. Thank you guys so much. Obviously, we're kind of in a recap, but we're not going to do like a full-on recap. But just want to say a big shout-out, big thank you to all of them out there. I never thought that we'd have the membership that we have already. Obviously, want to continue to grow it. It's still very small, but we want to continue. But we are thankful for the members that are there, right?
Yeah, very thankful.
So continuing on that path. And before we move on to, basically, we want to go over where we're going to do for 2020. Yep. Before we do that, anybody who is listening, since the calendar year has started, if you do have some marketing dollars or you have some stuff that you want to go ahead and get promoted, please reach out to us on pcartalk.com on Contact Us. Let's have a conversation. If you have something that aligns with our beliefs and our values, we are global, and obviously 60 plus countries. If you need to help, grow your business, we would love to help you. If you have something within the product line that, relates to somehow even, I mean, we had people approach us over the weekend for for beard balm, obviously you have a big beard. I have a beard, but not like that. But so it's not just car related. So think about things like that. If you are listening and you have a product, and you want to discuss some type of sponsorship activity, what that looks like, how many episodes you want to do, and we can get into the details and the weeds and the demographics of that if you contact us. Yep. So, moving on, 2020. Holy crap, dude. When I sat down and wrote this out, man, unreal. I mean, unreal in a good way. Yeah. So, some of the major things, I had to write them down so I didn't forget it because there's so many of them.
Yeah, like last year, I think things kind of came our way more than we knew about them. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And, we had plans, obviously, we're structured, but, so the things coming up this year. All right. So this coming weekend, we're going to be in Miami with the DRT guys for a pre-DRT basic podcast and to spend some time with them. We're going to grill out, we're going to stay with them. Pretty much what's going on, talk about the depths of it, see if we can get any secrets out of them that maybe we can leak to you guys, obviously without kind of like ruining the show, but leak some stuff to you guys. It's going to be a 4-day event if you guys didn't know.
4 days this year, not 2, not 3.
That's like 6 weeks away. Yep. So if you're planning your travels or going or not going, or you should be going, if you live anywhere cold, pop on a plane, go to Miami. There's tons of places to stay, even if you don't get to bring a car. I know that's kind of boo-hoo, but you should still attend the event.
Yeah. I mean, it's a giant event.
It's massive. 600 plus cars last year, and they're expecting way more this year. I don't know a number. We haven't really discussed that, but obviously it's going to be higher. So if you can imagine, I mean, we're looking at like 6, 7, 8 city Miami blocks that were shut down last year.
And it's all going to get bigger. Has to.
2 track days this year, VIP event, obviously main event. It's insane. So it's becoming very, very, very quickly, if it hasn't already, because I don't want to undergrade it by saying this, a very premier event to be attended.
Yeah.
So we're doing that this weekend as far as like talking with them, and then we're going to help promote that as well. And, we're going to help sponsor the event in our own way. And we're going to be doing some media stuff at that event too. So super exciting. So if you're going to be at that event and you're listening, please come talk to us. Again, we don't bite. Aaron may not even speak to you. I don't know. It's hard to get any words out of him.
I don't talk very much.
Yeah,
no.
I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, please come up to us. Like, we love engaging with anybody who's listening, and anybody who's an enthusiast of what we're doing. We love it, and just want to talk shop. That'd be great. So that's happening this weekend. 2 weeks after that, we'll be at the Rolex 24
coming fast.
For the kickoff of the IMSA race season.
Yep.
Major event. And that's in Daytona. And if you guys, again, need to get out of the cold and you need to go to a race event, I've been telling people even locally here, if you've never been before, or even if you have been, you should go to that event. If you're going to go to one race, at all of the races on the IMSA race list, at least, in the domestic area, that's the race to go to, in my personal opinion. And I know I'm biased because we live in Florida, but it has the best layout. You get to see the most
It does.
racing.
The track is very, very well suited for.
You have the most racing,
stuff.
the best amenities. It's the place to go watch a race if you're going to go watch a race. So that's in a couple weeks, and hopefully, we have some stuff. I have to send a couple emails out, but I think we're going to have a special guest from Porsche Factory Racing on the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't want to, divulge anything, but I'm just going to lay that out there. We kind of have that. We've been working on that. And thank you to our secret friend that helped us out with that as well, to put us in touch with those folks. So that's super exciting. And then the actual DRT event is 2 weeks after that.
Oh, yeah.
Is happening in Miami. So then that's the big kickoff. We'll head down there Thursday morning early, and then we have a track session on Friday. And I mean, there's a track session on Thursday too, but we have a 4-hour drive, and then that, you have the main event, and then you have like cocktails, and then the cars and coffee at the collection. I mean, it's just red carpet after red carpet, and it's a great event. It's a great city. If you've never been to Miami, there's a lot of culture there.
Yeah.
Lots of great food. There's a lot of great people there, a lot of great cars. It's a great place to be, especially that time of the year. I mean, I think they have a home run. It's February.
Yeah, it was really nice last year.
Most of the countries, minusing, California, which is always nice, but most of the countries like really shitty weather. Yeah. Not in Miami in February. If you want to go to Miami at some time and not really sweat your bag off, you probably want to go in Miami.
Definitely.
I mean, in February, excuse me.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still going to be warm. I'm not promising you like 60-degree weather.
No.
But it's not going to be 90, and 100% humidity at least, like it would be in the summer.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's 2 weeks after that. And then 4 weeks after that event, we'll be at Amelia. So Amelia Island Concord, if you guys don't know, we've talked about it before. You should definitely make that event. It's basically a baby car week type of deal at Pebble Beach.
I guess that's a good way to look at it.
You still have all the Concord stuff, but there's a lot of cool stuff going on. It's on a secluded island out there at Amelia Island. The scenery's beautiful. Generally speaking, the weather's really nice. It's
been chilly the last couple of years.
Yeah, but in a good way though. Yeah. Not like too frigid. I mean, a few years ago it was really, really frigid, but like last year it was like 60s, like high 50s with like a 10-mile-an-hour wind, which was absolutely beautiful. Like you got the sea breeze going. It was really, really nice. It's a great event. You guys should go to that as well. If you haven't, definitely check it out. Again, this is all stuff to get you guys out of your cold areas that you're living in, or nothing going on in your area. These are all events we go to, and not because we go to them, it's the best thing in the world. But if we're going to them, that should say enough, because there's a lot of other people going to them as well. It's not like, because P Car Talk's going, but there are a lot of other bigger names than us going to these events. So let that, speak for itself. And then following Amelia, the week after that is the 12-hour Sebring race.
Yep.
And the WEC Challenge, we'll be there for that whole weekend. And then April at some point, we're going to have our drive, right, and weekend. So the PCAR Club inaugural basically meetup / drive, mountain drive is happening in April. Dates to be announced. But you need to be a PCAR Club member to attend.
Exactly.
And more to follow on that as well. There'll be a secret password for club members, emailed to the club members so they could log into the thing that Aaron's going to have set up. Yeah, where everything is, once you log in, you can sign up for the actual event. There'll be all the details there spelled out for you, the dates, the times, all that kind of stuff. We're going to block a hotel schedule. Again, the hotel's not super huge, so it's just an option. It's not going to be included with your purchase price. If you're going to be an adult, you need to figure out where you're going to stay, but we'll tell you where it's at. But there's tons of places to stay. There's cabins, there's all types of stuff. Like if you want to,
we're going to have a couple of the major companies, and that way that makes it easy.
If you want to buddy up with a couple people and rent a cabin, that'd be fun too. Just like the main dinner is going to be at that hotel. So that's the only thing. Not that that's a big deal. I mean, that's in the vicinity of all of that stuff. So. That's going to be great. So that's happening in April. And then after that, Luft East, I'm sure at some point will be happening either in April or May. Hopefully we don't double book,
I thought is it not May? Or
they didn't say.
Okay.
Like they're Uber exclusive like they always are.
Oh, I thought, maybe I assumed.
Yeah, you must have then because all it says is we are going to have it on the East Coast.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay.
So, so probably, but just guessing as far as temperatures go, probably April or May is when this is going to happen. That's why I said hopefully we don't double book. I don't think we will. If we end up doing that, we may have to shift dates around, but that might be challenging because when people start locking in hotel rooms and travel and all that kind of stuff. So we'll have to see. Fingers crossed on that. Maybe we can make a couple phone calls and make sure that we don't double book, send something out to Jeff and just be like, hey, you don't have to tell me when it is, but this is when we're doing our thing, and we don't want to make people have to choose. So that's happening. And then over the summer, we kind of go dormant for a little bit, meaning we do a lot of car reviews during that time. We do a lot of stuff with the dealerships, do a lot of dealership work. So probably not going to travel a whole lot during the summer. Plus, there's not a lot going on event-wise during the summertime.
Because it's temperatures and weather.
Yeah, exactly. So everybody's kind of just in summer mode. And then following, closing out summer, kind of it's still summertime, but then they'll be Checked It Out Chicago in September.
Coming back.
So that'll be, hopefully we can drive up to that. I think that's what we want to try to do this year. Cool. And then after that, we have Petite Le Mans will be at again. We already rented the house for that.
We already did that.
And that's stuff that we already have booked. There's tons of other things, guys, that end up happening through the year that we didn't actually put on the dockets that are we need to go here to go do this. We need to go here and do this or go visit these folks. Those are just the major, macro high level stuff that's docked. It's not hey, we're going to go visit with this shop and sit down with them for the weekend. That's not even this kind of stuff. So a jammed packed year and hasn't even started yet. Right. Unbelievable. Yeah, while I was writing this out, I'm like, are you freaking kidding me right now?
Yeah, I was doing the same thing at home. He didn't know. I was doing the same thing at home. I was writing everything out for my year to make sure I had things booked, tickets purchased, because you got to do that stuff early, otherwise it didn't happen.
And then with that being said, if you're hosting an event and you're listening to this, definitely reach out to us because we've had a lot of people reach out to us in the past. It's like, hey, do you want to come to this event? That'd be great. And not to sound frugal or sound like an asshole, but I'm just being totally transparent. If you want us to come to some event that you are hosting and you do reach out to us, let's do it official, right? Let's try to make it a way where maybe we can come to your event and we can trade some media coverage for maybe you sponsor our travel and you sponsor our lodging. And then that's the trade-off where we talk about it on the podcast and we podcast with you as a guest there as your host to bring light to your show and then do a YouTube video. And the reason why I say that for anybody who's listening is to try to kind of get people in the mind frame because a lot of people don't understand how that stuff kind of works when they host these events because we do get a lot of DMs or emails and saying, hey, would you like to come out to this event in Vegas? And it's like, sure, let me just dip into my pocket and haul ass out there and spend $1,500 to come to your event for the weekend. It really gets challenging when we're the ones fronting the bill. So if you can help us with sponsorship and you want us to attend your event, we would love to be there. But it almost kind of needs to be a value for value type of trade, right? So just kind of want to bring education out there to people for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that really does help, and it goes far.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of, you know, not to sound like a prick, but it's kind of industry standard, right? So it's kind of one of those deals of like, okay, hey, you know, there's many people that are doing media things and maybe they don't get paid monetarily. You know, maybe when you get to a level, there are people paying you to be at those events. We're still on the come up for that. But at the point where we're at now, even with our reach, you know, there can be sponsorship travel, at least at a minimum, to get us there to the event and pay for our lodging. At least we can pay for our food and so all that kind of stuff out of our own pocket, but at least get us there and put us up, right? So enough said with that. But so what we have for the rest of the show coming up, we have somebody first took their Taycan delivery this month, or I guess not this month, but December.
Oh, wow.
It just passed. In the U.S., finally somebody took one, and they talked about the EPA stuff, so we'll talk about that. I'll talk about an article that Autoblog just wrote in December about the Sport Turismo. We'll also discuss Bizimoto, which is one of our favorite builders. We like him a lot. Very nice guy, very kind guy. And then we'll also talk about, before we close out, we'll talk about 992 Aero Kit cars, thoughts and stuff. Oh, yeah, I already fucking snark at that. Like.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just can't help it.
Yeah. Where's your poker face, dude? Anyways, and then we'll close out the show, and then we'll let you guys get back to your new year with your folks or whatever. So we'll take a quick break, and then we'll be right back.
All right.
Thank you guys listening to PCAR Talk so much. We appreciate you guys so much. I can't say that enough. Also, check us out on YouTube. We release videos on Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Help support the channel. Everything we're doing is trying to bring the community closer together. We definitely appreciate that. Also, when you go onto YouTube, you know, if you could subscribe, maybe pass it along, make a comment, we really appreciate that. Again, circling back to pcartalk.com, there is a newsletter created on there. Please put your information in there. That way we can keep you up to date on anything that's coming forward and anything that we're going to be doing moving forward and all the exciting things that are coming out. Now back to the show. Hey, we're back from break. Oh, wait, you can record it.
I just, what? No.
We don't cut anything out here.
Nope.
It's all old school and not edited.
It's to tape.
Exactly. It's reel to reel, son. Can't edit anything here. But anyways, so let's get on with the show. We're going to talk about the Taycan. I know we've been talking about it a lot, but it's obviously Porsche's baby. It's all over the place. There's parties, there's videos, there's everything. But the important thing is actually one of these have gotten delivered to someone in the U.S., official delivery. Yeah. So this guy's obviously a baller.
I would say so. If you're number one. First. Yeah.
Who this is, Greg Weiler, founder and chairman of OneWeb, took delivery of his Taycan. So he's reported basically even in really poor and shitty conditions, he's getting 254 miles essentially. So in super freezing conditions, and he's beating the piss out of it. He's getting that type of stuff. So he's trying to say, obviously, the EPA is underrated, as we thought. Yeah, and we said that before, and we talked about that on a prior episode. So this goes to solidify basically what we've said.
Yeah, I wonder what his good conditions are. If 254 is
worst. Well, he lives in Mass, so we're gonna have to wait a while before that happens up there.
Yeah,
but,
that's true.
Needless to say, what are your thoughts on this? As far as now, I think after that episode, we've talked a little bit about Farah doing his thing where he was like beating on it in the battery life, like really, really down and all this kind of stuff.
It was as far 40% from full in 17 minutes when he was really getting on it. That's
driving it hard and all that kind of stuff. I mean, do you? And I know it's going to be hard to say this, but you're just guessing. And you basically have to know yourself as a person. Do you feel like you would have range anxiety driving this car?
No, I think that's plenty of range. I mean, that's definitely anywhere you're going to do a trip before I'm going to fill up. I mean,
but this isn't going to be like a road trip car.
Yeah, I mean even in that mindset, that's something. No, I'd never have range anxiety. If it's just going to be the commuter to the office.
And we kind of discussed that, right? Like earlier in the year, we talked about that. We talked about how this is going to change in the sense of maybe this is going to be your city car. This will be your commuter car. Now, granted, it's a fucking expensive like commuter car, 150 grand to just commute in the city or wherever around town and not be able to go long distances or whatever with it. That's a whole nother topic. We won't get into that right now, but I think this is starting to be the trend, at least from the Porsche world. And especially once this platform starts coming out, like we talked about in like 3 years, you know, the sports cars ones. If you could,
Is this a Turbo S? Or do you know?
it didn't really
doesn't
say.
matter, but
You know, in 3 years, if you can get in a Cayman, it has 400 horsepower and it has 200 miles of range. That's a kind of a cool city car, and maybe it doesn't cost 150 grand. Maybe it costs 75 grand.
Yep.
And it's
Because
half the
have
cost.
to. I mean, that's going to happen. Just Moore's
Maybe
law.
now you have your dyno burners in the garage for your weekend stuff, and then you have the electric car. As we've talked about before, if you've watched any of our videos, when you drive the electric car, it is a calming thing.
Yeah.
There is less stress coming for whatever reason, just because of the noise from the engine or whatever, the road debris or whatever. When the car's in EV mode, it is a little bit more relaxing.
Yeah, there's just a stillness there. I mean, and you would think too, like we said, 3 years, Cayman Boxster comes out, their range is going to be bigger than what we think.
And you know the Macan's going to be full EV soon.
Yep.
I mean, they're just taking the same battery from the Taycan and putting it in that.
Oh, easily. You think that?
So then you think you can go get maybe a well-equipped Macan full EV for 75 grand.
Yep. Do you think they're going to? I know they haven't talked about it coming out, but I'd almost believe that 2023 we're going to see the full line. We're going to see Cayman Boxster, Macan.
You're going to see a lot.
Cayenne. I think everything.
Yeah, they haven't even discussed it. I think it almost, not to sound anything bad about it, of course they're on this EV kick, but I think that it's almost a given.
Yeah.
I think it's.
I don't see any reason for a slow roll.
Let's not even talk about it. It's just going to happen.
It's happening 2023.
Exactly. They don't even need to probably announce it. They're like, oh yeah, by the way, in 2021 we're going to have a full EV Cayenne and Macan. All we're doing is it's going to be basically all it's going to be is a lifted Taycan probably.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, because that's how they designed this. They designed this for the battery design for it to be in all of those vehicles essentially.
Yeah.
And the motoring, and if you could think about it, almost kind of as like if you're building a model, they're just sticking shells on these cars essentially.
Shell off, shell on.
Yeah. And that's why they built a whole facility to kind of do that, almost kind of like, let's build models here. So, but I mean, going back to that range anxiety thing, I think eventually we'll get to the point where it won't be an issue. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get an electric car. Probably I'm going to be an old curmudgeon by the time I have one. Because right now it doesn't really make sense for me.
Yeah.
Like being at home and stuff. So whatever. I mean, it's cool that they're getting delivered. This guy actually took delivery of one.
Yeah.
And he's using
like 1 million of them running around in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they're starting to finally show up. And we talked about it before. I think we're going to be getting in one here in probably a week or two ourselves and giving a full review on it as far as what our thoughts on the actual Taycan is, and
see if we feel range anxiety and just test driving it. I mean,
I know it won't, just because the place is going to let us use it. If it dies, they're going to be like, "Well, come get it right now." Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mike only did 5 launches.
Exactly. I'll be like, "It's dead already." I was like, "It hooks up good." Aaron has a headache. I mean, but yeah, I thought that was interesting that. Obviously, there was an article written on that because they finally have landed in somebody's hands as a consumer, not just at dealerships or test mules or people R&D.
Did they interview him, or did they just happens to be? Like, did somebody go and talk to the CI? And
well, I think they probably did. I think a lot of it was probably done through social media. I mean, him being a founder and owner of a thing, it's something tech based. I don't know what OneWeb is. I didn't look into it, but obviously he probably.
He's probably was like, "Hey guys, you want to know what this is?"
He has FU money, obviously, probably. So, but interesting enough. All right, so Autoblog, which is a pretty big news source in general, they wrote an article in December, actually a few weeks ago, on the Porsche Sport Turismo, and they're saying it basically that's the Panamera to buy in the Panamera lineup.
Surprise!
Heard that before?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Never said it.
Yeah, never. That's news. And not talking trash about them, but. Obviously, I'm bringing this up because they're a pretty big news source, and obviously we're still pretty small and we're still on the come up. We were talking about this over a year ago. That was the one to buy.
Yeah, I mean, it's space makes sense. Just the overall, I mean, usability. Obviously, that's the same thing.
Yeah. And then obviously aesthetics are debatable, right? Yeah, that's to each their own. Some people like it, some people don't. And then to reiterate it, over the summer we actually drove the big boy, the Sport Turismo Turbo S.
Yep.
The one that has basically the hardest launching in Porsche's lineup.
Yeah.
Rip your face off launch.
It's no joke.
It is really, and if you don't believe us, go watch Porsche's top 5 launches.
Yep.
Hardest launches. That car is in the top 5.
Yeah.
And the one we drove. So, and again, it goes back to reiterating what we said from the beginning. So just because we're small guys doesn't mean that we don't know what we're talking about. So maybe we kind of know what we're talking about. And maybe we kind of know people a little bit. Hands up emoji.
Yeah, I mean, because they really take the gamut as far as what they drive. They don't just drive Porsches like we do. So
yeah,
I mean that's.
And to be they're all over the map. Yeah. And like for us to be like dialed in, I guess that really matters because we're able to hone in on the craft of Porsche and tell you what really is the best within Porsche's lineup. Granted, obviously it's opinion based, but at the same time, if your opinions align with you guys are listening to us, you know what our values are, what our value is, and we actually try to be pretty open when we do our reviews as far as 100%. As bonus goes, as far as this I do like, this I don't like, why do I like this, where usability goes. I try to think of even family people, not just us that are no children, all those kind of things, single, whatever. So it's a pretty comprehensive opinion, even though it's an opinion.
It's opinion / experiential because maybe in the beginning it might have started just kind of opinion, but now I think we've got to experience most of what Porsche has to offer as far as all the brand new stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's helped out. But
how many people come to us offline are like, what's the best value you think right now for Porsche? What do you think from a performance standpoint, if I want a sports car, or what do you think about these values? We get so many of those when we talk to people that in person that ask us anytime they get a chance to like get our ear or they get 5 or 10 minutes of us alone, and they're like, what do you think about what's going to happen to the old GT4 rates or prices, and what's going to happen with it? It's interesting to see but it is helpful insight because we have spent so much time with Porsche and with Porsche execs and all those. So we have a really good pulse of what's going on. And that's the goal, though, is to translate that to you guys. Yep. So I hope you guys out there that are listening are utilizing the information that we're giving you. We're not just trying to, cloud your ear with garbage. So I just thought that was interesting because they're a lot bigger news article than us. And 12 months later, they're talking about it, even though
they get there.
Yeah,
they probably listen to our episode. They're like, you know what, we should talk about this.
Yeah, let's not kid ourselves out. Right? They're probably like, who the hell? What?
Turn that off.
Penis car talk? What? Penis talk? What is this?
There you go. That's never going to be undone now.
Yeah. So I'm sure people have been saying it. All the trolls that hate us anyways. They're like, what does that even mean? Yeah. Move along. Anyways. So let's talk about, I know we kicked off last year with a builder series. I kind of indirectly did this. It's not like adding to the builder series, but I do want to talk about a builder that is a friend of ours and a very kind person as well, Busy Moto.
Oh, Busy.
So as you may or may not know out there, Busy Moto obviously was at SEMA. He's a car builder out in California. He does all types of wild stuff. He's done Honda Odyssey twin turbos that have 1,000 horsepower, but at his roots, he's a Porsche guy. Yep. He's got a monster Frankenstein 996 motor in an IROC body.
It looks so cool.
Turbo that has like 1,500 horsepower at any given point.
He detunes it to like 800, so it's drivable.
So, he's deep roots in Porsche. He's got Porsche Cayman with twin turbos on it. That's got like a wide body kit. Yeah. He's got an RWB turbo car. He's built so many cars.
He's an engineer at heart. That's what he is.
Yeah. And the great thing about him, like myself, and I'm sure a lot of people that maybe are listening that didn't have a silver spoon in your mouth, you had to grow up through the car ranks. He grew up as a Honda JDM type of guy. Mm-hmm. As he accumulated more money and his engineering career grew, and then he opened his own business, his taste for performance changed some. He still has love for Honda and JDM, but he also loves Porsche a lot. That's where his heart is now, is at Porsche. The reason why I'm bringing that up is he obviously did a SEMA build. One of his SEMA builds this year was a 935 Kramer car, K3, body styled car. But I don't want to say the nice thing. I want to say the interesting thing about it was a full EV car.
Which I didn't know until like a few days ago. I just kept seeing it. I was like, that's cool.
Aaron's like, oh, well, there's another Kramer car, huh?
And that's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I went about, because I was like, oh, cool.
Because those suck, right? Like,
well, I figured he built, I mean, he, like you said, turbo car. I felt like, okay, he just did a different motor, turbo car. Cool.
yeah, he did his own rendition of a K3, right?
And that's it. I didn't know when I started digging deeper. I was like, oh, it's a full EV car. Now that's cool.
Yeah.
As far as, I mean, that's the way I would want it right now if I had a full EV.
Well, the cool thing about it too is obviously, if you do or don't know that you're listening, SEMA obviously each year gets more and more over the top. And what I mean by that is if you're somebody who's going to display an item there, or going, like, you just can't bring something that's like lightly modified. You, in order to stand out, in order to grab that attention, in order to go viral, essentially, you do have to do something kind of wild like this. And it is kind of a wild build, but it's actually a really cool build too, because it is like you said, and it's in partnership with a lot of the places that he worked with. One of our good buddies obviously supplied the wheels, 1552. But he worked with, AEM and one of the places he normally works with. But I just think that it was pretty neat that it was full EV, and then this thing has like 635 horsepower. Which is,
I mean, no slouch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true. I didn't know what I was, okay, cool, full EV, and then I saw the horsepower grill, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I watched the review of it when he did his own review, like with the watching him drive it around and stuff. It's just insane, the torque. And
well, it's got to be no weight to it too. So I mean, anything that type of power range, and then the instant power.
Oh yeah, the torque has to be out of control on this thing. Now, as far as I know, we've discussed this. EV West is doing this to retro cars, and do you think you could daily one of these? Because we just talked about this Taycan dailying thing. Do you think it'd be kind of cool? Like, because there's some people that have that old soul, and I know people always want like the new, and they want the AC, and they want the way the inside feels. But I wonder if you're kind of one of these guys that you're like, you don't care about that stuff, but you kind of like the old school look. Do you see yourself driving a K3 that's all full electric?
Well, it depends. I mean, it would be cool just to drive a K3 in general. The ability to do that would probably be a lot cheaper than having a full out, all original, or that motor built like it needs to be built for the race car.
Oh, you couldn't touch an original one,
exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
this is still probably going to be an expensive build, but
it's not going to be to that, to those other numbers. I do that.
And I know daily's probably kind of strong, but at the same time, where I was trying to lead you down the path of when I said daily, I meant in the sense of people buying gas cars as far as a collector or weekend car. Like this is kind of like car. Exactly. Yeah. Now this has turned into something, as we talked about before, where people were taking maybe old 912s and they put these motors in, like EV West is doing. Do you see a generation of people that have interest in this and taking maybe, I don't know, I don't know why anybody would do this, and I know this is going to sound horrible, but I want to say it because it's controversial. Take a 997 GT3, let's say the motor grenaded, and then you put an electric motor in it. And then, because I'm not saying that person, but saying somebody else may see value in that, as far as like, that's my fun toy, that's my electric toy for the weekend.
Not only would they see value, but it might be the only way you can do it. I mean, because I know we keep talking about these laws that are passed, but it depends, and it'd be dependent on timing too.
It could be.
If you could put a car like that on the road, but it'd be a way to still keep that body style or that shape and stuff that you like.
Yeah, almost kind of pay like homage to like an old thing.
That's gonna be the way
you're gonna. That's where I was going with. Are we gonna start seeing maybe these old like race style cars, but throwing electric motors in them, and those are gonna be the weekend toys?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, could you? Well, I know the answer to this. Could you do that to your 964? I mean,
hell no.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not.
I know you're not the candidate.
I'm the dog who won't go outside when it's raining. And the reason, what the analogy I'm using is, as you all know that maybe have pets, when you have them by the leash and they see the rain and they just like do all four paws like on the ground, and you try to drag them out in the rain to go to the bathroom, and they're like not happening. That's kind of like, if you can imagine that in your head, that's me. That's you. When it comes to like EV stuff.
So third or fourth car, and you had an option, and so the same scenario, motor was grenaded. You had an option to rebuild the motor. You could. or go EV. And it was decent range, all those things, power wise.
But which car what's the dead one? You got to tell me what it was.
It's a 911 of you're trying. Just a long hood 911. How about that?
No.
Nope.
I wouldn't do that to that car.
Okay.
It's got too much soul. Now, I'm more on board for having something newer that was like cast in EV to like meaning born that way to begin with. I can get more on board with that as opposed to taking something that maybe had operating heart and then putting it on like life support, essentially, like plugged into the wall. Yeah. I don't know. My brain doesn't compute that. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just giving you my personal, like, I don't know, like I malfunction and shut down. Like you got to reboot me or something because I don't get it.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. Like I'm not trying to discredit what BC's done here. I want to drive the car when we go out there. And I've been in electric cars I've been in when Tesla first came out with their Model S and ludicrous mode. I've been in those cars. I know the pool. I know they're fast. I'm not denying that. I'm a petrol kind of motor guy. I'm a sound kind of person. There's a lot of other things that invigorate your driving experience. That's just me as a person. And then there's the flip coin of it. You know, I know there's generational people because I know you watch a lot of tech stuff that can't wait for the pretend Cybertruck to come out or the next EV thing because there's just those people on that cutting edge of technology, and that's great. That's what makes us all different. Maybe I'm just an old salt of the earth kind of guy, and I'm just not. I don't know. I just can't get on board for that. For me, from a sports car standpoint, and I'm not saying it'll never happen, like for me, but I'm just not there yet.
Yeah.
And I don't see it happening anytime soon. And again, it's not to discredit anything that Porsche's doing or anybody's trying to do for the environment and try to do anything. It's not about that for me. I know the benefits. I'm obviously educated. I have a formal education. I can see the benefits of it. I can see why people are trying to do that kind of stuff and do their part to try to help, you know, the next wave and the way we're moving forward and generationally and things like that. But just the way, I mean, that's why we go to the track.
Yeah.
So I can hear those cars. I don't go to the track to hear silence.
You might soon.
But that's the thing is if they were, I'd probably be going to less track events. And that's just me. I mean, and I'm an 80s baby. I was born in 1980, man. Like back when, you know, muscle cars were still, as you're coming up when you're 16, you wanted a muscle car.
Yep, I was there.
So it's just, it's engine oil, it's gas, it's smell. It's our pastime growing up was going to the drag strip. And there's still a little bit of that in me. So I guess it's just hard for me to adapt into that kind of stuff. I mean,
well, it's not here yet. That's good news.
Yeah, but
it's quick.
And I know we went off on a tangent. There's a lot of other people that are starting to build, like, I guess, independent companies. They're doing what BC has done. And where I really wanted to tie you in with this was, do you think that this is going to be like kind of a third party alternative?
Yeah, I was going to say that's where you're going to have
like
to.
If you don't want to go with Big Brother buying a car, meaning like the whole VAG group in general, like if you don't want to buy an Audi e-tron or whatever it is, but you're kind of like maybe you're retired, maybe you don't need something to daily, but maybe you are part of this electric, like, oh, let me get in on it. Are you going to go take a 912 and do that? Are you going to go take a 914 and do that? Are you going to be one?
A 914 doing that.
No, you don't know that. People are doing it with Beetles. Like people are taking like 66 Beetles and doing it to them. People are taking VW.
It'd probably make more sense to do it with
people are doing it to like VW buses.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can see that. What I was going to say is survivability for these other shops. I mean, as this starts to become electrified, as a shop, you would need to have already know what's going on, how this works, those type of, I guess, resto mods.
Yeah. I think that's already coming. Like that's already happening as we speak. Like with watching some of these places. Like obviously, clearly, you know, BC's bread and butter is engines, like building an engine and building turbos. But he built an EV car, so not to discredit anything he did. And obviously, there's tons of work, and there's probably a lot of teamwork that went into this, you know, collaborated build. But there's people obviously that know how to do it because this car wouldn't exist if it didn't. and EV West is doing it to cars as a business. So, I mean, this is a real thing that is already happening. I just wonder if it's going to get even more popular generationally, meaning, okay, say those people that I was talking about before that are those tech wizards that are all like we talked about, whatever, the California guys are out there and they want the Cybertruck. Okay, well, if they start to get a little bit older, I wonder if they do want a 912, but they want their 912 to be electric because all their other cars are electric.
Yeah.
And they don't want a combustion engine car because they're
They would have fit in.
a lot younger. Well, not even just fitting in. Maybe it's just what they're comfortable with.
Yeah,
It's a comfortability thing at that point.
I guess, you're right because
Because they understand that
grew up-
motor more. They understand those batteries more. They have it in all of their fleet of their vehicles. That's maybe all they've ever driven all their life. It's a comfortability thing, kind of like where I'm at with a comfortability thing where I don't want to transition because I know what I'm comfortable with from a combustion engine standpoint. And I'm like, no. Like the tail, the flip over on that end. I don't know. I think it's going to be an interesting time while we're alive, and I'm going to be that guy, that old curmudgeon. It's going to be pointing my middle finger up at those kind of kids and be like, I can't believe you were on this car.
Don't hear anything.
Did you hear that, old guy? Be like, yeah, I think you used to do some like podcast. Remember? Like, that's so old. Podcast? That's like AM radio, bro. That's AM radio, bro. But anyways, thought it was interesting. Let's talk about that. 992 Aero Kit.
Yep.
Now, it's been out for a few months. This isn't super new news, but I kind of wanted to let it marinate, let it digest with everybody for a little bit, to have seen photos for a little while, and to really get in opinions. If you were listening to the show earlier or watch this, Aaron kind of tipped his hat. He made this like snarl when I made it up. So, but we'll get into it. Like it, don't like it. Tell me why. What's going on? What are your thoughts on this?
I think the rear spoiler just doesn't fit it. Size wise, proportionally, it just looks weird. I don't know.
You think it needs to be bigger?
Smaller? I don't know. I mean, it just looks like it's too big for the
body.
the body. Positionally, I think it I don't know. It almost looks maybe too far forward. I don't know how I would really redesign it. It just looks like it shouldn't be there.
Okay, so it's
I'm sure it's engineered perfectly.
Optically for you, it just kind of
seeing it
looks
initially,
off.
it's jarring.
Looks off. Mm-hmm. I'll be completely honest with you. I mean, if I inspect two of them next to each other, but like at a glance, minus the actual like spoiler, the rest of the body, like the bumpers and stuff, they don't really stand out to me.
I agree with that. Where it doesn't, where you really have to
like
look
where
to
your eye is drawn to the spoiler. I think.
Yeah.
In my attention, like that's it. The wing. That's all you look at is the wing when you see it. At least for my eye, that's the only dramatic really thing that I see is that the wing. The way the wing's designed. And I thought about this a little bit more when I wrote this. I think what you're saying I agree with, but I think it's designed the way it is because the way the rear of the car is designed.
Yeah, I mean,
meaning I don't think there's a whole lot of option there.
I agree with you on that. I just
as opposed to and let's roll it back a little bit, like 996 or even 997. There's so many variants of wings you could put on that car.
I also don't like a lot of those Aero Kit wings either. So.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the way it was designed.
Yep.
Even not even from an aero, like an aftermarket thing. Okay, you can go with a GT wing. You can go with a GT3 RS wing.
Yeah,
you could
double
go
stack.
Yeah, you could go with an aero wing. I don't really see that many different wings working on this car. Just the way that because the way the butt of it's integrated, where it has that really big like beetle tail that flips up, the arrow tail or whatever they call it.
True.
So I started to actually like engineer in my mind what something like that might look like on
it's
there.
It's got to come almost all the way across the body.
And it's going to look funky. Mm-hmm. So
unless you had a crazy looking ducktail.
And I was thinking maybe that's the only thing that really could work, but I don't really know if that would work either because the way that it's
probably not high enough to get down.
Yeah, well, not even that, just the way the car's sectioned, like in the rear, because it's not one big piece. Remember when we spent our time with it, it's like a flap, like it's weird. It's like a turtle shell, like the flap of it. That's the best way to describe it. I mean, it's not sectioned, but you know what I mean. The rear of the car section, but the way that design is, like, how do you eliminate that piece and put something else in its place to make it look proper, I guess.
Yeah.
I think
well, it's this diffuser. We know this. We know the answer to this. The aero kit's got to have some type of different diffuser than the other cars.
So your answer is you don't like it.
Yeah, pretty much. Everything, I agree with you. Everything else on it, except for the wing, I like.
And I think in general, I think it's just going to be one of those things. I think it's going to be, we're just going to have to get used to it, I guess.
I'd definitely take the gooseneck spoiler.
Yeah, I would too.
If I had the choice.
Yeah, that's a better option, I would think. I really wonder what maybe if an RS comes out, like if it's a taller gooseneck, if that's going to make it look more kind of motorsport because of the RSR car has such a high gooseneck spoiler. I wonder if that comes up. I wonder if that gives that car that look.
It may. It may be the most motorsporty RS we've ever seen.
Looking wise at least, because it is going to be super wide like the RSR car. Obviously that's a different tangent, but yeah. So you gave your. I don't really like it. I'm on the fence with it, but I'm kind of more in the nay category. I'm not really feeling it. I think it kind of looks, and I don't mean this with any disrespect. I think it's more kind of like a Gambala look, in my opinion, than a factory aero
overly
thing.
engineered, not overly engineered, but overly designed.
Yeah, I think it's more like aesthetically done. And again, I don't mean that with disrespect. It's not my flavor is what I mean.
So if you could get the aero kit with minus the wing, you'd be in business.
Maybe not look right. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I'd have to see one.
Yeah.
I just thought it'd be interesting to bring up because they're, obviously been popping up everywhere for the last 60 days as far as like photos. And people have a mixed bag review on them. People like it. People are like, oh my God, it looks amazing. And I'm like, yeah.
Well, that's going to be the wing for the GT3s.
It kind of looks. Yeah, it might not be though.
Think so? Is it going to change it?
It might not be. It might be a little different. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it'll be longer. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. But yeah, I just want to see what your thoughts were on that. All right. So as a reminder, guys, we are doing car reviews. We've been doing car reviews for the better part of 6 or 7 months, right? So we have a YouTube channel. If you haven't watched any videos, please go on there during the holiday season. Make sure you subscribe because it helps us out a ton.
Yep, notification bell as well, so you get notified when stuff comes up.
Porsche content's always rolling, and not even just reviews. Obviously, there's logs and from all the travels and all the meets. And if you want to watch the podcast on there as well, that helps us out a ton. So yeah, we're growing that side of things. Also, remember to check out pcartalk.com.
Yep.
Right? So there's a lot of stuff on there. There's merch that Aaron has designed and put on there for you guys. We actually just released a black and white line. Yep. Which super simple shirts where the logo's not as loud. It's on the side of the shirt. Super simple, just black shirts or white shirts with the logo on it. Actually look pretty crisp. I like the way they look. Well done with that. Additionally, you can join to become a PCAR Club member on the website. That will help you get into the Club Members Drive and the Club Member Weekend. Again, like we talked earlier, you need to become a member to do that. So make sure you join that. There's all different types of levels of membership as well. And it tells you the details of what you get with your membership. So, the entry level of the membership will still get you into the drive. You just need to become a member to do that. All right. So that's a good one. And then to close out, obviously, Aaron, and I were writing articles on the reviews as well. If you're not a watcher or a listener and you just want to read and you're more of a study, there's articles on our website, and Aaron is also posting articles on Medium, correct?
Medium.
So good on those sites, help support us, helps read those things. Make sure you buy your memberships. Make sure you help Darren out and buy something from his website as far as fdmotorsports.net. And we love you guys, and, let's have a great year, kicking off the year right, and we'll see you guys soon.
Yep, see you. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of PCAR Talk. Connect with us on Instagram at PCAR Talk or online at pcartalk.com.